One of the easiest mistakes you can make in painting is you get so close to your painting that you can't see mistakes that are made. But before I fix this, let me take you along for the journey and you'll see the painting come together. Then we'll hop into the studio and I'll fix the mistake I didn't even notice. I kind of love roads and pathways and trails and things that draw your eye in. So we pulled off on this little road here. It's just country, farms next to us. You can see that direction a ways and back. But what really got my eye was over here. I love the tree. I just kind of like the way that the telephone poles are angled over here, and then you got the big tree kind of overhanging the road on this side with the road going up. So we'll see what happens with this. I kind of need to do it quick to make sure that I get done in time. I love the simplicity of this scene looking back, and because maybe it's the fact that I love road trips, I love painting roads. They naturally draw the eye back up into the painting and into the area of interest usually. And so sometimes the challenge is to make it be a little bit more subtle than obvious. But we have these telephone poles that I also really have always enjoyed adding into paintings. They're kind of interesting to me. And I made a couple little mistakes. I'm using an acrylic marker there to draw in the scene. I like to establish a plan ahead of time, and this is an easy way to do it. To draw, you can use a pencil or you can use a paintbrush and paint. Because of the ease of it, I tend to use an acrylic marker when I can, just because it's like if I have one with me, because it just simplifies it a little bit. But there's no magic formula to that. It's just a red acrylic marker, and you can get them anywhere. This is actually a Sharpie creative marker. It is acrylic based, so it's going to work great underneath this acrylic paint. And if some of it shows up, that's fine. Now, here's the deal about painting on a road is that every once in a while, people drive by. Now, this is a pretty small little road, and there aren't a lot of cars going on it. But there are a couple people that come by, and actually one of them we talk with a little bit. He's a friend that just happened to be actually on his bike when he came by. But I wanted to get the big shapes in here first, and I wanted to use a simple big brush with big brush marks, and you can see that I'm putting them on with just a lot of intentionality. And oh, here comes our friend. I'll stop for a second here and take a break. Okay, it looks like I'm back at it after talking with him. But good times to interact and see people. Get out there and paint in public if you don't mind. People looking over your shoulder a little bit. It's a great way to meet people. It's a great way to see people. And it's a great way if you're wanting to promote yourself or get yourself out into the world and be more visible. It's also a great way to be seen by people. And a lot of times people take interest in a painting that they saw being painted. So you never know what will happen. But if that's you, I encourage you, go out and paint. It is a bit scary, a little bit intimidating at first, but once you get over the initial idea of it, you'll be just fine. And you just kind of have to develop a thick skin when people come up halfway through your painting and they say, "What are you doing?" or "I don't see this," or whatever it is. But I'm still just going with big shapes, big values here. You can see I'm spraying my palette every once in a while, and I might spray my canvas also here and there. But I'm just trying to get these big shapes and big ideas so that I can move on with other parts of the painting process. And this is actually quite a quick painting. I do not take very long with this because I'm just wanting to get the initial big parts done. And I'd started out with this thought of, I wonder if I could make a certain number of brush strokes. And while I kind of got distracted from that when my friend came by and I stopped keeping track of the number of brushstrokes, the idea behind it I carried on with, and which was, let's be bold and intentional and do this with the least amount of individual brushstrokes as possible. So I'm still using the big brush, and I'm just trying to shape things and create things. Now, the sky is a little bit cloudy, but the sun eventually it starts coming out more and more, and you start seeing how it's going to change things. It's going to change there's no shadow on the road right now, but as we move a little bit further along, there becomes a bit of a shadow. There becomes more strong lighting. And so that's what happens sometimes in plein air painting, is that you need to make your initial brush strokes, and you're just starting with something, and then you move toward the as things shift and change, you make adjustments. You're trying to adapt to what's happening, but you also don't want to go back and forth too much. Like, I would prefer to have one main shift in the sunlight coming out, or one shift in it going away, and just kind of stick with where it's at. It's a little bit more challenging if the light is changing and it's going back and forth and you're undecided and you don't know, am I going to be trying to put the sunlight in, or am I leaving it out? And if you're undecided, you'll end up kind of chasing the light. That's what it's called. And oftentimes that's just a game that doesn't usually end well, because it's very difficult with shifting colors and shadows and everything to get it to work correctly if you are going back and forth. And it's really a place where you just kind of need to make a decision at some point and say, okay, this is what I'm going to remember this scene as. Because you can see now the light is coming out. It's a stronger contrast. And that gives me this opportunity, because I did want to have the sunlight if possible. I was like, well, I'd really like to do this. And so I'm trying to act quickly, because I wasn't sure how long the light was going to stay out. But I liked it. So I am making this adjustment. I am trying to be quick with the changes and still maintain some of the initial colors and values that I put down, but I'm just leaving those more in the shadow as I'm covering up some of these areas that are in the sunlight more, and working my way from the sides of the road. And I don't even know, like, when you're painting on location, you really see the big picture sometimes, but when you're working on one area of the painting, like right now, I haven't yet put in the shadow along the road yet, because I haven't even maybe really looked at the road in a minute. I've just been paying attention to the trees and the grasses and the bush over on the right. And at some point I'll be like, oh yeah, and there's also this shadow along the road. It comes right across the middle of the road here. But you just kind of think big picture and try to move quickly, try to see things quickly. What I like about the challenge of painting outside is that sometimes it forces you to paint instinctually. It forces you to paint intuitively and not to overthink everything. One of the biggest little it's not a huge error in this painting, but it's the one thing you can see it. It's that white, I'd call it a sky hole, except it doesn't really look like a sky hole in the middle of the big tree. It stands out like a sore thumb, and you probably noticed it and you're like, what is going on? But in the moment, in that very moment, I did not see it at all. And so it's kind of ironic. But I didn't even notice it until I got the painting back home and I stood back from it at more of a distance, and I was like, wow, that looks very odd. So overall though, I liked the feel of this. It was very intentional brushstrokes, large brushstrokes. I was motivated, I was into it. I painted with my heart. The sun came out. I was able to capture some of the dynamic lighting. I liked the contrast between a few smaller details and the large brushstrokes and big shapes. And I liked the way that the light, you know, cast such beautiful colors onto this scene. So it was a fun time to be out there. It was brief. I even was able to see a friend. And I was happy with what I did, even though I realized that I do have one sky hole to fix. All right, we are back in the studio, and here is the painting. Of course, I could work on this for a lot longer, and you might choose to do so. I like a lot of what it is right now. This one kind of white glob right there is what bothers me. Now, I just put out a little bit of red and green. I can mix a very dark color here, and I can move it a little bit more towards brown if I add that, and then I have my white. So I guess for the sky, I'll just need a little bit of the green and the white. But what I would do here is, I think that that hole is just too obvious and right in the middle of this scene. And so I'm just going to take a little bit of this. I'm going to mute it down a bit. And the other thing is, I mean, I did kind of direct this tree trunk to go that way. So it might make sense that there's a large gap right there, but it's not necessarily going to be visually appealing if it's right in the middle like that. So I'm moving it off to the, well, I'm breaking it up a little bit right now with just a couple branches right there. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to add in also, just put a little bit of this color in here, just to tie it together a little bit more. And then I'm going to put in a couple more light areas. So hopefully that also can get tied together with something that will make it look a little bit more like it fits in with the hole. But a lot of times with these kind of sky holes, things like that, less is more. I don't want to have so much information here, or, you know, already, like, I'm just going to do a few things and see what it looks like. And if I need to go back and make another kind of different type of change, I can do that. Let's come in here though. If we want it to make sense, it might take a little bit longer to work a little bit more on that. Looks like I had a slight darker color in there. It wasn't a pure white. So let's come over here. Just realizing some of this is a little different. I'm gonna just blend in some of this color. I think overall I'm liking what it's doing. There's a couple parts here that I think if I just put a few more sky holes around some of the outside areas. I usually like to soften the edges of these a little bit by smudging them. Again, I'm kind of hoping that by adding a few more, it'll, like smaller detail things, it'll take some of attention away from that. Need to be smart about it. The whole painting is quite bold and it doesn't have a lot of small brush marks, so I can't all of a sudden add them without making it work in other parts of the painting. And I don't really want to make the whole painting small brush marks, so gotta be smart with it. Some dry brushing can work as a little alternative, hopefully. So let's go up here. Just noticing that those would be better, a little bit softer on those edges there. Well, it doesn't stand out to me like it used to. It's definitely better than it used to be. I think it looks more realistic. I'm standing back about as far as I can right now and looking at it, and I think overall I like it. I think what I'm going to do is come back with one more little bit of some of the darker value, darker color here, and just think about just filling this in a little bit more right here. Now, if I think I actually could use a little bit more of this orange right here. I'm getting a little bit too into this, but the color, I can't mix quite the brown color if I don't have that orange on here right now. So I'm hoping this will be just a little bit darker, less red. There. Now, who knows? The thing about painting is that sometimes you do have to step away, look at it over the course of the next couple days, and you'll see some things that might not have noticed. But that's the whole point of this part of the video, is saying we get so close up into our painting sometimes that we miss the forest for the trees. And so I'll now step back again and I'll look at this over the next couple days, and potentially I'll see this is working, but now I need to do something else. You know, I haven't put in telephone poles, did this amount of detail, make it so that maybe I need to add more detail in here. Are the values working together? Are the colors, you know, connected? Do they make sense relative to the other colors in the painting? All of that can still be adjusted, but I think for right now, I improved this area. Whether or not it's perfect or done or doesn't need anything else, we'll have to see in a day. But for now, it's improved. We can step away again and we can take another look at it. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time.